Good day. I'm Glenn O'Kray. I welcome you to this edition of Through the Arsenal Gates. This is a program to introduce you to people who have made history, are making history, and will make history. Today, our special guest is Laura Dudgeon, who is an activist. Laura, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Glenn.
Laura has not always lived in Dearborn, I'm sorry to say. But Laura, tell us where you're from.
I was born in Wyandotte, and I lived there for the first 30 years of my life. I enjoyed Wyandotte, but it was a place that you just couldn't get to anywhere fast. You were kind of stuck in a pocket down there. And I found Dearborn. And Dearborn is just ideally located, and it's 20 minutes downtown Detroit, 20 minutes to the airport, 20 minutes to Oakland County, and 20 minutes back home to downriver. But I still say you can take the girl out of downriver, but you can't take the rat out of the girl.
Ladies and gentlemen, she was supposed to say she likes the people here too.
I do. Well, I haven't left. No, I really enjoy it, and I've gotten active with the community because I believe that it's a wonderful community, and hopefully I can make an impact to make it maybe a little teeny bit better.
Hurrah. Laura, how far did you go in school?
I completed an associate degree in telecommunications, and I did enter, after that I entered the University of Michigan Dearborn engineering group, but my hours at work couldn't support my schooling.
Okay.
So
Where did you get your associate's degree?
Actually, it was Washington Community College, but it was through the AT&T. It was a work school program.
Okay, cool. Were you a good student?
I was, and then I wasn't, and then I was again. So
She sounds kind of normal to me. Were you, but tell us about your philosophy of life.
I believe that, to live life the fullest, to do what you can, to make life easier for everyone, and live today like there's no tomorrow.
Okay. And your values? Tell us about your values.
My values are just basically the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think that answers most everything.
Okay. Who was the most influential person in your life when you were growing up?
Probably my father.
Now, what characteristics did he have that you picked up on?
He was a character. That's for sure. And he had strong beliefs, but he was one that believed in justice for all. And I'll tell you, this is probably what really stands out with my father. When the riots were going on in '67 in Detroit, and I was a young teen, I didn't understand what was going on. And I said, "Dad, what are these riots about?" And he said, "Well, you know how you look on the television, everything's white, 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 white. Everybody, all the privileges go to the whites, and it's time that they stand up and say, we deserve some too, and they do, and we've left them out." Okay. So that I've always cherished that philosophy that he had. Okay.
Now, along the way, you've made reference to your mom. Tell us a little bit about your mom.
My mom was actually the opposite of my dad, and my dad was more serious. My mother was just, I think I get my sense of humor and my optimism from my mother. She had a long history in the United States. Her family, actually, one of her ancestors was hung as a witch in the Salem witch trials.
Don't cross Laura, this might be genetic.
And the other part of her, because my mother's has Irish ancestry too, so it's, I always think I'm the luckiest person in the world because of my mother.
I have to throw this anecdotally, and that is that I was at a fundraiser for the Dearborn schools a couple of years ago, and Laura won, I don't know, 10 prizes. so the bad news is it didn't rub off. But anyhow, so you have Irish ancestry.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, when you were 12 years old, what did you want to do?
I wanted to be a scientist or a lawyer. I grew out of the ballerina stage.
Now, what advice would you give to an 18-year-old who is trying to decide what she would like to do?
Logically, I would say just take all your core courses first because your priorities change through life. And if you're really going to follow one thing, go for what you're passionate about, because it is true that anyone who works at what they like, they don't work a day in their life.
Okay. All right, very good. Tell us about your family, Laura.
My family. I have... family is really important to me. I have a lot of sisters that we're all close, sometimes too close, but that we can rely on each other. We're all. I'm happy that I feel really. I really am the luckiest person in the world. I've got a husband who's just wonderful. I don't know how he puts up with me all the time, but he's stays around. And you know that story. You've got Jane.
How many years?
It was 2001. It was a space odyssey when we got married.
Tell us about where you got married.
We got married in New Zealand, and it was a spur of the moment type thing. We said, well, let's go to New Zealand because we love to travel. We've been around the world. We've been all through the country, to Alaska and Hawaii, and
you know they're part of the United States.
I did. And, but you know, there's a lot of places we haven't been to yet either. My sister said, well, if you guys were going to be getting married or something in New Zealand, maybe I could go too, but I just can't really afford it just right now. And it's like, well, what do we? Well, we might as well get married and make bridge come. So yeah, we planned it on the internet, and it was a wonderful time. There were 7 of us that went over, and then we spent 2 weeks in Australia after a week in New Zealand, and it was paradise.
Cool. Now, was there any? Your now husband Tommy asked you to marry him. Was there any reason that might not have occurred?
Well, he had never been married before, and he was eager to get married. I had been married before, and I said, well, there's not a big deal out of it. But, you know, when we decided we were going to get married in New Zealand, I'll tell you, it did make a difference. I was happy we got married, right. And he was too.
All right, very good. And you have any kids?
I have a son from a previous marriage, but I think that he likes Tommy more than he likes me. They have a better relationship. Not that I don't have a good relationship with him, but you know, he's.
Yeah. Okay, very good.
It's wonderful to see that they are friends as well as
sure, absolutely. Now you've talked about a trip to New Zealand and Australia. Any other significant trips that you've had along the way?
You know, everywhere you go, there's a natural beauty. Whether it's another state, we've been, you know, to almost all the states. I would say there's probably less than 5 states that we haven't been to. We've been to Europe a couple times, England and Ireland and France, and I'd say everyone has its beauty, and everyone has its special foods. A lot of times we recall what wonderful meals we had at different locations. And,
Cool.
You know.
All right, so you have Irish blood in you. Did you go to your Ireland and find where you came from?
Well, no, but I talked to my mother about it, and she wasn't sure.
All right. Okay.
So it's like, well, but we went there a couple. Actually, we've been there 3 times, but we've driven there around Ireland twice. So we've seen. Ireland's not that much bigger than the state of Michigan.
Yeah. Tell us about some of the jobs you've had along the way, Laura.
Oh, I had a lot of different jobs working
give
for the same company.
Give us the worst job you've ever had.
Worst job. It always seems like the jobs that I had that I worked the hardest at was when I made the least amount of money. And that was when I was. When I was in high school, I worked in a gas station. I worked in a car wash. I worked I was a cleaner. I went to. I had another job. I actually for 5 years I didn't work because I was home with my son, and then once he got old enough to go to school, I went back to the workforce, and. I'm the luckiest person in the world. I had my cake and ate it too. I went to the phone company because I didn't want to stay in one spot. I thought, this is a variety of jobs, and that's what I did. The hardest job was being an operator. Yeah. There was a production job. There was a lot of, you towed the line, and not that I didn't do well as an operator, but sometimes it was a thankless job. You got a lot of abuse. It was an information operator back before they charged. And there was a lot of abuse from the customers because, and management had their job to do, so they were constantly listening in on you to make sure you didn't say the wrong phrase or included the right phrase. I mean, they were just
Okay. Now, tell us about you're working on the polls.
Oh, well, from the operator, I went to I got a job as a clerk, and then I went to the business office. I just kept transferring where there was a little more money involved. And I got to a point where I was thinking, my son needs to go to college, and I need to make the most that I can. And to do that, it was to go outside and work as an outside technician. And I thought, well, if I don't make it, I'll go back to the business office. But I got to the top. I made it to the polls. But I actually, and that was the start of it, because I was an outside technician doing installation for phone jacks and connecting wires. Then I started working on the bigger cables. I went back inside and learned fiber optic systems and then I went back outside as an outside tech for high-speed data. So it was...
What was it... I guess the thing that I think about most is the weather issue.
Oh, yeah.
You froze your butt off, or you roasted your butt off.
I could handle winter much easier than I could the summer.
Oh, okay.
In the winter, you dress for it. If you got too cold, you just go warm up for a little bit, and then you get back out. If it's cold, you're moving faster, because the more you move, the warmer you stay. Now in the heat, there was no relief. There was no going somewhere to get cool. You couldn't, couldn't go sit inside. Yeah. You just, the more you moved, the hotter you got.
Sure.
It was so, there were times I was in people's backyards turning on their hose.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have with us Laura Dudgeon, who is an activist, which brings us to the question. You're involved in the League of Women Voters.
Yes.
Tell us some of the things that they're involved in?
The League is a wonderful organization for community. They advocate and encourage voting, and I got the best job in the League, the Dearborn Heights branch of the League of Women Voters. I'm the chair of the high school voter registration, and we're just getting underway now. And I took over that job from who started it, Betsy Cushman. She's just, anybody who knows Betsy, I don't even have to explain. She was quite the woman to start the program in the high schools, and partnership with Access, and it's a great partnership. But we've evolved it, and just the last couple of years, we've been bringing in the students to do the presentations for them to register and to learn about voting rights and all the options for voting. And then the last 2 years, we've been changing, and Michigan's leading the way in changing access to voting and making it easier and more. There's no excuse for not voting anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
Laura, do you have any anecdotes to share from signing up students to vote?
Oh, I can't, what we do, we have this wonderful, this started in the last couple of years, is we've asked, we go into each classroom, whichever classroom we go to do our presentation, we have a chart where we ask for 5 issues that are important to each classroom is different, but they'll say whether it's gun rights or healthcare or Palestinian relations. Every classroom has their own priorities. We call it a priority exercise, and then we have everyone in that classroom vote with a sticker. Put a sticker on which issue you think is the most important. That way they can see collectively what's the most important and how they can, as a unit, maybe make an impact. Or we'll cover up some of those and say, hey, if you don't vote, who's going to know? So I really like that.
Yeah. Do you remember what the major issue was last year?
I think it was guns.
I think it was, yeah.
I think it was guns.
Yeah.
And that's sad because
Absolutely.
that's the sign of the times.
Yeah. Now, you worked on the bond issue a couple of years ago. Any commentary on that?
I was disappointed that it didn't go through because there is a need for the schools. The bond was for the maintenance and the upgrading of the schools, the buses, and it was defeated only by 400 votes. And I think that people might have misinterpreted what their monies were going to be used for, or thought it was going to maybe go to waste, which really isn't the thing. And the ones who might be against any additional spending, I wish they would realize that the better off the schools are, the more the community is going to thrive, the higher your values of your businesses and your homes are going to be if you have a strong, good school system. So I don't see where that small investment would have made any big difference in anyone's lives.
Absolutely. Laura received an award from the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Laura, tell us about that.
Well, it was actually, I was doing a dual role, doing one thing. It was something the League encourages, as well as the NAACP, to go in and observe what's going on, whether it's a city council or a school board meeting, but they want us to be active in the community. And I chose to go watch the courts. Well, when I sat there on the courts at Dearborn, I observed that most of the people that were coming in were of African Americans. The blacks were the highest percentage. I don't have a scientific number, but I know that it was at least 75%. Now, when we come from a community of 4% blacks, I know that's not a true representation of crime or what's going on in the city. And I spoke out against it. I spoke out against it at a city charter meeting. And for that, the police didn't take too kindly about my comments and put me on their website. And not the official police website, but the Union Police website or Facebook page, and deleted any comment that I might have gotten positive about what I said. They deleted all those. But I reported back to the league and to the NAACP of what my observations were, and I found it appalling. And so with that, the fact I think that I spoke up against, the discrimination.
Do you know of any other Caucasian who has been awarded in the Western Wayne branch, out of curiosity?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Larry and Jerry Biggs were, during the pandemic, they were given the Volunteer of the Year's Award.
Right, very good.
Yeah.
I think it's great that we have activists like Laura and Larry and Jerry Biggs from Dearborn who are actively involved in the NAACP. So you ran for the Charter Commission as well. What led you to run?
Probably my observation at the police department, thinking that maybe we could use a police oversight committee to go into the charter. And it was a thought. I also wanted to get environmental protections built into the charter. But I realize we can't do too many drastic changes in the charter, or it would just definitely be used against it and voted down. So we proceeded with caution, but it did give us a platform to speak out against some of this stuff. And, we'll go for there, and hopefully we'll progress a little bit more at the next charter.
Okay. Any good campaign stories?
I was proposed to. While I was doing door knocking.
Did Tommy object, or did he encourage
No, I
it?
think he was going to drop me off there. But no, there's an older gentleman who said, "Are you married?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "Oh, well, I wanted to marry you, but if you lose him, you come back."
Very good.
That made my day.
Yeah. Now, what have you liked about serving on the commission?
I liked. It was quite an educational experience, and I liked the camaraderie with the fellow commissioners. I liked what we ended up with as far as the charter itself. I mean, I would have made more changes, but it's not me. It's
That's the wonderful thing about democracy.
Yes. Well, I would be afraid of anybody who agreed with everything I said. So.
Yeah,
That would
I
scare
agree.
me.
Yeah. The Wall Street Journal had an article on Dearborn. What is your commentary on that?
Oh, I think it's disgusting. It's misinformation. It's I don't see how. They're no longer to me a reputable a source of news. They once were, I felt, but when they chose to print that, and I thought that showed horrible. It was disgusting. And defamatory. It's harder for Dearborn to be able to be taken seriously when we were being kicked around like that.
Yeah, travesty here. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you that has made you a stronger person?
Well, first time I was married, my first husband had, and we were in our early 20s, and my son was real young, and he had heart surgeries. And I maintained working my son, hospitals. He was in the hospital for months. One time he went into a coma. That I think that experience made me stronger, more self-reliant. And it was actually, it gave me the sense of I hate it when you're looking for the word and you can't find it, but my own convictions. I was able. It made me stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Now, we have a diverse community. Is that good or bad?
I think we have a slightly diverse community. I think we have a high population of Arab Americans, but we're not diverse with any other groups. We're not diverse with blacks. We're not diverse with Asians or Hispanic. There might be some small pockets, but I think we have a wonderful relationship with the Arab community. I kind of liken that to in New Zealand with the Europeans and the Maoris. They coexist, and that's how I feel with the Arab community. We coexist. We share everything. Some places would think that that there would be oppression, but there is no oppression. I don't see it. I'm not. I feel we have a great relationship with Arabs, but I would like to see Dearborn become more diverse. I would like to see more welcoming to the black population and Hispanics.
Very good. What is your worldview?
It's the same as my moral. It's do unto others as you would have them do unto. I would think that. And I don't want to sound like I'm anti-Jewish or anything like that, but I used to wonder, why did the United States always give so much money in foreign aid to Israel when there were starving areas in Asia or Africa, or where there were disease-ridden or droughts? Why wasn't that money shifted more towards people to help them survive?
Okay. All right. What's the most interesting thing that's ever happened to you?
Wow. Life. Life. I'll tell you, I've always taken risks. I mean, I like playing the risk game. I've jumped out of an airplane.
Did you have a parachute?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I've driven a race car. I've gone scuba diving. I like the thrill of life. I worked for a while when I was working in the business office. I worked on weekends as a hobby. I didn't get paid for it, but I was licensed flagging and communications. So I'd work on the race car tracks with I pulled Paul Newman out of a car one time.
Cool.
That's a lot of stories on the racetrack.
Good.
Yeah.
Laura, when you go to the next life, what do you want people to say about you?
That they were glad they knew me. That maybe I helped them. I hope they think of me kindly. I know there are a few people say, "Ding dong, the witch is dead."
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the session of Through the Arsenal Gates with Laura Dudgeon. If you enjoyed your visit with us, tell all your friends. If you didn't, just keep it to yourself. Thank you for joining us.